have the Hex 9 setup, which is for the first boss here. So we have the Ethereal Pegasus. Okay, this is the flying horse. Okay, this boss, we've got the standee over here. And I'm just using these two again as my example. The Shadow Knight and Clairvoyant. So this map, a little bit different. You can see that we've got some block lines here. And these are line of sight, basically. So these are called terrain boundaries. And what it says is that if a terrain boundary is basically in your direct line of sight, that allies cannot target one another. So if the Clairvoyant was here, on this hex here, the Shadow Knight would not be able to heal her, would not be able to target her, to buff her, basically. Okay, and then it's, as you'd expect, it's the same for the enemy boss as well. So if the Pegasus is over here, Shadow Knight at the moment can't get to her, and neither can the Clairvoyant because they don't have any line of sight. So that's what the terrain boundaries are. Okay, now to help the heroes, we do have these yellow hexes here, and these are called sundials. And we've got one there, one there, one there, and one there, and they are a teleporter. Okay, so when the hero, let's say the Shadow Knight, moves in, let's say on his first turn, he starts on hex 1 anyway. If he can get at least a move 2 on one of his movement cards, he can go 1, 2, and then he could pop out over here. And let's say it was a move 3 over to here, and he's already adjacent. Bish bash bosh, gets in with a nice strong melee attack. Okay. So that's the terrain boundaries, that's the key. We jumped into the key first. Then what we've got over here is the additional boss mechanics. So it tells us up here that the Ethereal Pegasus, no matter what, she gets a move 1 at the end of her turn. Okay, and it says here that that is in addition to her normal movement card. So on her turn, if she got a move 2 and she went, you know, I don't know, like 1, 2, and she can do that because remember the terrain boundaries, there's a bit of red text there that it's only for the heroes. The enemies, they can ignore terrain boundaries, unfortunately. It's kind of what you'd expect anyway. She's flying. Look at those wings over here. Okay, so let's say she goes 1, 2, and then no matter what, she gets an additional 1 anyway. So she might go 3 over there. Okay, it tells us that the Ethereal Pegasus ignores damage multipliers on the map. So for her turn, we can just pretend it doesn't matter where she is on the map. If her ranged and melee are all just hitting for exactly what her board says. And then the final thing over here is that in her trail, she leaves a path of glowing conditions. So if she was here and we said that she went there, there, and then over to here, those 2 hexes would receive the glowing status effect or condition for 2 turns. Okay, so that's quite nice because if the Clairvoyant was here and then the next turn the Ethereal Pegasus gets a move 3, over here in the AI guidelines it recommends to move through hexes that have heroes on them, because effectively this boss has got wings, so she can bypass some mechanics and she's allowed to do that. So she could go, what we've got over here, so it's like 1, 2, 3. She could go over the top there, and then in that path there would be glowing there for 2 turns. 1, I haven't got enough dice because I left them all in the tray, but it would be 1 there, 1 there. And then because that one is on the same hex as the Clairvoyant, it would come off the map and it would go onto her board. Okay. And just so you know, in general as well, these dice, each new round, when this die goes from a 1 to a 2, the map has its own little token upkeep. So those 2s would go to a 1 there and a 1 there. And then the following round, they're knocked off the map because they go to 0. Okay. So that is the key already explained, and that's the additional boss mechanics. Then we just have a quick look at the actual boss mechanics itself on the board. What does the boss do? What spells has the boss got? And let's have a quick look at those now. So this boss here, by now I imagine some of you have watched some of the videos and had a quick look at our combat system graphic. If you haven't looked at the combat system, go ahead and have a look at that graphic on the Gamefound page. It's nice and simple, some nice big diagrams, and it explains the 7 steps of combat. Okay, we already had a few people join our Discord and say, I think I can play. I know the combat system already just by watching a 2-minute video, that they don't even need the gameplay reference sheet as a reminder, because it's just a couple of set sequences. You got a token upkeep, dice upkeep, special ability, move, spell. You kind of done. I mean, ignore me there. I am just blasting through it. There's a little bit more nuance to it than that. But what I was getting at here is all our spells have attack modifiers. So this spell here tells us that we add our intellect stat. This one, Galloping Radiance, we add our agility stat. So if it's 2 damage, it's plus the agility. So the agility is 8. So 2 plus 8 is 10. So we'd announce that we're going to attack both of these two, Shadow Knight and the Clairvoyant, for a total of damage of 10. Then damage resolution happens. However, this boss is really different because we've never done this before. Can you see there's also a Night modifier, a Dawn modifier, Dusk modifier, and a Noon modifier. And it tells us up here that what those attack modifiers mean. So basically Dawn means +3, Noon means +4, Dusk means 2, and Night means 2. So going back to this Galloping Radiance, I said earlier it was 2 damage, plus her agility at 8, so that's 10, but she's also got a plus Dusk. So if we have a look on here, Dusk is 3, so that'd be 13 damage, okay? That's what would get announced. However, this boss, unlike the other ones, has 4 phases. She's got Dawn, Noon, Dusk, and Night. Now this is the light scenario, so these bosses are thriving in the light. So this boss starts off very strong, gets weaker and weaker and weaker as darkness basically shrouds the battlefield. So because she starts in her Dawn phase, this little ability here is active. But when we come down to here, it tells us that those bonuses there, if the boss is in that exact phase, these bonuses are doubled. So back to this Galloping Radiance that I said earlier, 2 plus the agility at 8, that was 10. We said Dusk was 3, so that was going to be 13. But if the boss is in Dusk phase, which it tells us up here, is if she's between 40 and 21 health, Dusk would be doubled. So that 3 would be a 6. So instead of 13 damage, Galloping Radiance would do 16 damage during this phase here, the Dusk phase. Okay? And these are all different HP thresholds. You can see there, the start of the battle, from sort of full health down to 61, she's in Dawn. From 60 down to 41, she's in Noon. Then she goes to Dusk, and then she goes to Night phase as well there. And these different abilities happen here. So this is the Night phase is quite interesting because the boss receives a semi-permanent can't be targeted. Okay, however, she also receives 5 damage per turn that is unpreventable and undefendable. So because this ability triggers at 20 health, or that's the earliest it can trigger. If she's at 21 health, she's still in this Dusk phase. And let's say you hit her for a big, huge hit of 16. She's got defense of 6, so she'd take 10. I said she was at 21, take away the 10, she'd go down to 11. Okay? Then she'd be in this phase because her health is below 20. This would happen, and each turn, she basically kills herself, but she can't be targeted. So that means the enemies can't target her to speed up the process of her killing herself effectively. So it becomes, for the heroes, an act of survival, because you know that the boss is going to get another couple more turns in. You can't target her, but she is going to kill herself effectively, and she's got maybe 2 or 3 more rounds left in her before the shadows or the night claims the Ethereal Pegasus. Okay, and then back to the movement map. Remember, you got your teleporters and you got your line of sight. And then when she moves around the map, she gets extra move, and she will leave a trail of glowing conditions behind. So there we have it, guys. That is